People don't do the gauntlet anymore.
Have you ever done it?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I ran the gauntlet once when I was 18 and completely insane. But I was with 2 other guides, experienced guides, and we were just lucky. But there were 2 other people that summer who did not get so lucky. One guy got killed, and the other is paralyzed for life. But don't worry, we're gonna hit some 3s and 4 pluses. You're gonna scream your guts out. You'll love it. We are gonna risk death a number of times on this trip.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and I'm not going to pretend that I give a shit about you and your stupid friend and your pathetic, small-time nothing life. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. Don't mind me. I'm just making smoke signals that you will notice at the right time.
Oh, boy. We're going to have such a good discussion. We are dorking out about 1994's The River Wild, which I requested because I had seen some clips recently, and I was like, I want to rewatch The River Wild. So Margot's a good sport. This is written by Dennis O'Neil. It's got an uncredited rewrite by Carrie Fisher, and it's R.I.P. God, I'm never going to get over that one.
No,
never.
That hurts.
And it's directed by Curtis Hanson. Did he also die? Actually?
Yes.
I'm like, yes. Okay, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, fuck cancer.
Seriously. And this movie stars Meryl Streep, Kevin Bacon, David Strathairn, Joseph Mazzello.
Sure.
Let's say that. John C. Reilly playing a creep.
Hello.
And a very
Mr. Cellophane. Hi.
Cellophane, Mr.
Cellophane. Hello, it's John C. Reilly. I'm very scary.
A very young Benjamin Bratt.
Baby Bratt.
Who's currently starring in Poker Face. And
yeah, he is.
And
he's
look,
a slice of nice.
You know what? Benjamin Bratt has always been good looking, but I think he's one of those people who's getting better with age.
Yeah, it's unfair.
It's unfair. I agree.
But I hear he's a nice person, so
I really hope that's true. I believe he has a Bay Area connection, so that I should look this up before I say things like that, but I'm pretty sure he does. Let's start with this. Did you see this movie in the theater?
No, and because it looked cheesy. And I wasn't very, it was my last year in college, so I think I was just kind of caught up with a lot of stuff. So it was a time when I wasn't going as often to the movies. And I just remember thinking, this looks really formulaic. Like I could give you all the beats ahead of time.
Yeah. And to be fair, it is.
Yes.
Those things. I'm like, but I saw it in the theater. I think it played at my theater. And I liked it. And I remember thinking at the time, and I still think this, and at the time, so we're talking 94, like, first of all, Meryl Streep didn't make movies like this. Like,
no.
Like, she was Sophie's Choice Meryl Streep. She was Kramer versus Kramer Meryl Streep. She had done She-Devil. Like, and which
is a great movie.
Yeah.
We need to cover that one day.
Yeah, we do. And I don't think Death Becomes Her had come out yet at this point. So, and we certainly didn't get like action movies that featured a female hero. That was also not a thing. So this movie was pretty different at the time. And I remember being very excited about that kind of movie starring a woman. And then that woman happens to be Meryl fucking Streep. I was like, damn.
She needs that in her credits from now on.
Meryl fucking
Fucking
Streep.
Streep. To see who says
Seriously.
no.
So, by the way, have you seen so Only Murders in the Building? She's going to be in the next season.
I can't wait.
And there's like they're making TikToks with like Selena Gomez and she's in it, and I'm just like, oh my god, I fucking love Meryl Streep. I just love her.
I do too. I love her, and
Yeah.
I love her daughters are really talented, and I love the fact that she was engaged to John
Yes.
from The Godfather. God
Yes.
damn it!
I'm gonna look it up for you.
Yeah, because we got even I got your son the T-shirt because
Cazelle.
it's a long story. Because John Cazale, yes, and that there's a T-shirt that had Al Pacino and John Cazale, and it was Dog Day Afternoon. It's for this hot dog place in my neighborhood. And Meryl Streep went up to somebody who was wearing the T-shirt and said, "That was my man." And I'm like, holy shit, she's cool.
She's so cool. She is.
She really is.
If you haven't seen The River Wild, it's like a family's going on a whitewater rafting trip. They encounter like these two dudes. It's Kevin Bacon and John C. Reilly. And you know right off the bat that they're sketch. And it turns out they are sketch. They're these two criminals who robbed a cattle auction.
That's where they there's a few times where I was like, oh, for God's sakes, that's it.
And they are kind of making their getaway by going down this river.
Which one does?
Which
when
you
have
do.
no
By the
skill.
way, I wrote in my notes, I was like, my dudes, there's easier ways to make money.
I get it that this is there's Die Hard on a bus, Die Hard, this is Die Hard in a raft.
Yeah.
Fine. I like me an action movie. I love action comedies the best. This thing has no sense of humor. This is
Correct.
From the beginning, it is like a fucking drag because Meryl Streep, who let's say the good things, who's always great. They're all great. David Strathairn is one of my favorite actors.
Him.
All of them. They're wonderful. And I love that she's this strong, badass woman. Her shoulders look amazing.
Yes.
She's in great shape.
Yeah.
And she obviously is doing all of her own rowing.
Yes.
And after a while, watching her row was really tiresome. So I can imagine how she felt. Her back must have been killing her.
I can't even imagine.
I mean, all those takes they must have done. But she's really into that. She lives in Austin with her husband, her cute dog Maggie. Every movie,
Maggie's such a good girl.
She's a good girl. Maggie kept me interested. And then she has two kids. One of them is just dispatched right away because she's too young. It's like, okay.
I'm like, why even bother with
was this like her granddaughter or her daughter or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know why they had to.
That's rude.
I don't even know why they had to have the idea of two kids.
Well, also it goes
Yeah.
It goes further for me because they land in Montana, which is where her family's from, or where.
Yeah.
It's so she grew up. And have you ever been white? That's my question. Have you ever been whitewater rafting?
I've been on like the Sacramento River, maybe, or American River or something like that, where it was like very safe whitewater rafting. Like, not like this, let me just say, where it's like a couple of bumps, but not like this. And I was like a teenager when I did it.
I've done it a bunch of times. I was really into it for a while.
Oh.
So I know, I'm a really strong swimmer. It's one of those sports because usually I'm terrified of dying all the time. But this is one of those sports where I could make it. I think honestly, I'm that arrogant or something. So I'm a decent swimmer.
I'm a mediocre swimmer. I could stay afloat, but if you were do the breaststroke, I'd be like, you want me to stroke my breast now? I wouldn't know what to do.
Do you just doggy paddle or you not
pretty much?
Swim? Okay, yeah, because I could swim. I was raised in the ocean on the water, swimming, and I love the adrenaline rush of it. It's more fun for me when there's a bunch of people in there doing it together.
Sure.
The thought of myself just dragging people up and down a river is not fun.
Got it.
Which is rowing sounds great to me. Being in it with a group of rowers and, the team sport aspect. And I also like being outdoors. I love the water. So it's all those things that I should love. I love Meryl Streep. She shows up at the house to meet her parents off that little plane with Maggie in the back and her kids with her. She looks great.
Mhm.
Her parents look like the cool people. And it turns out her father is deaf.
Yes.
And okay. So they use ASL, American Sign Language, to communicate, right? So you're like, ooh, this is important because they're going to use this in the movie later.
For sure. Like
And for a second,
yes.
I mean, what? They can all okay, but let's continue. She's going to split up with her husband David Strathairn because he's an architect and he's working too hard. And he's like, this is the third year in a row. They're going on this vacation. He's like, I can't go because I got a presentation and a client.
Yeah. And she says something to her mom, like, I think my marriage is ending. And she says he hates his job so much, but he spends all of his time there. And, she's thinking, well, he just doesn't want to be around me. And
right.
Yeah.
He's not communicating.
Exactly.
And he has a rotten relationship with this. Thank you. He has a rotten relationship with his son. He's like a different generation, like our dad's generations are kind of like this. Like you take your anger and you push it way down.
You push it down and let it explode at inappropriate moments.
It's right. Exploded on your family at really weird times because that's not anyway.
Yes.
Excuse me. I'm having my Pellegrino and palm juice.
You're totally fine. It's
so,
supposed to be a happy hour show, so I'm having a beer, but that's cool. It's cool.
Believe me, I'll check in later, and you'll Anyway, so he doesn't, and then at the last second he shows up. He's like, "Yep, come with you," and they telegraph everything. There's this rivers. There's this certain one that's like a level 5, and I forget the levels of the. I mean.
Yeah, it's the worst part of the river. I think they say it's a level 5. It's where like 3 parts of the river converge together. So it's like really, really treacherous.
It's very treacherous.
It's very treacherous.
Treacherous. So they're telegraphing that. Like she goes, I went once when I was 18. Mm-hmm. One guy died and the other one's paralyzed. And then she turns to her son like, that's why you're not doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that's telegraphed is like, okay, I guess.
It happens repeatedly through this movie. Now, by the way, like, if you're not picking up the vibe, like Margot's like, this fucking movie. And I was like, yeah, this fucking movie. Whee!
Which is fine, because sometimes your enthusiasm changes my mind about things. It's happened before.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. I was annoyed because I was like, so she's still pissed at her husband because, okay, it's good for him to come to Montana right after them, like 10 minutes after they landed. She's like, hello. How did he get there so damn quick?
No, seriously, like they just got there and then he gets there right. He literally like followed them to the airport and got on a different
Boston
plane.
to Butte direct flight that was ahead of theirs. I don't know. But
actually, he's probably on the same flight, but just in a different part of the plane.
He was hanging out with Maggie in the back with the luggage. Like, shh, surprise. So she's taking it, which is like, all right, good first step.
Yeah.
And then we never see the parents again. And I'm like, there's lots of things here. I'm like,
okay, bye. We'll never see you again, parents and daughter that didn't need to be here.
And I like Curtis Hanson very much. Obviously, he was a super talented director.
Yes.
And I just think this is a project that could have used more Spielberg with it. It needed more jokes.
That makes sense.
It needed more family stuff. It needed more jokes. It's like, I think Spielberg could have made that a little, because this is like unrelenting water. But ignoring that, because that's what the movie is.
It's really dark. Like this is
doesn't let up.
Yeah, like this is. You think it's going to be like kind of an adventure movie, but it's not really. It's a thriller. Like, and it's pretty dark.
It's a thriller, but it's not. It's just making me anxious. It's never letting up that, and it's never letting that up, which is, I think, like sometimes you just need a couple of false leads, and then that'll relax me more. I think that's because Kevin Bacon shows up with John C. Reilly.
with Mr. Cellophane.
Mr. Cellophane.
It's Ren from Footloose and Mr. Cellophane show up.
Both of them looking slim and handsome.
Yes.
And Kevin Bacon's wearing his Lollapalooza hat. Hey-oh, this is the 90s. And the
90s.
This is the 90s. And the kid's like, oh, man, Jane's addiction broke up. And I'm like, they're not going to break up, kid. They all need mortgage money. They're going to keep at it.
You got to see them before they broke up. You're so cool.
Which is, I mean, I get it. I was, and he always has like his earphones in and he's listening to his tunes. I get it. And so but Kevin Bacon is immediately like, I fucking Meryl Streep, like, hey, how you doing? And she's like, ah, she's doing that nervous girly laugh thing.
Yeah,
and
she is clearly like flattered
flirting.
by young male
Right.
attention from Kevin Bacon, which I get it.
Yeah, and look, and I was like laughing, and I'm like, if Kevin Bacon just like laughed at one of my jokes, I'd be like, oh my god, like, I would.
The river
myself.
wouldn't be the only thing that's wet.
There you go, hey-o.
Hey-o.
So I get it. He's super cute. I mean, but they look like idiots. They look like they don't belong there. They don't have any gear. They're in jeans, t-shirts, and their sneakers. They're like.
I love that.
There's
like,
three of them.
Yeah,
there's three dudes. I don't remember the other dude's name. Sorry,
it's
sir.
like Frank or something like that. Gary. I don't know, but like so.
Fucking Gary.
Fucking Gary.
Of course, he's dead by the third scene. Spoiler. By the third act. First act. Excuse me.
Yeah, they telegraph that pretty well too, because the movie does like telegraph everything. The David Stratham character Tom, like he instantly is like, those dudes are creeps. He picks up on, and and of course Meryl Streep's like, you're just jealous, and it takes her a surprisingly long time to realize that they're creeps.
Her instincts are not great.
They are not great. She's very good at getting them down the river. She is not very good at maneuvering human relationships. Clearly,
she's like, they're clearly three guys that look, shifty.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable, not a part of the environment. No. And they're looking at her like, wow, this one looks like she really knows. So what, they robbed the auction? The cow auction? Christ's sakes. I was like, it's going to be a bank. At least it was a bank robbery, because I thought for sure it's a bank robbery.
It's these weird random details throughout the movie. To be clear, I super love this. Like,
yeah.
I'm
having more fun actually talking about
they rob a cattle auction. Why not? And there's like a whole thing where like she hears about it on the radio and she's like, my dad's going to think that's hilarious. He's been saying for years someone's going to rob the cattle auction.
I mean,
okay. And I was like, okay. How much money is at the cattle auction? Damn.
I think actually there's good money. There can be actually.
It must
really
be.
Good. Yeah, because especially depending on the steer and shit like that. Like,
yeah, I guess it's worth like running the gauntlet at a level 5 rapid.
Right. So they, like I said, they're in jeans and tee. Like they're not in gear. Like, because you're going to get cold, and you're not even get cold, but it's wet, and there's a lot of rocks. You're going to fall in the water. You do not want to be wearing jeans in the water. That's just not. There's stuff like that. I'm like, she should know.
Yes.
Like, they look sketch, right? But she doesn't. Okay, that's the story. And they're floating along, and at one point they're meeting up at the side of the river, and they're like, where's Gary? Let's just call him Gary. And they're like, I don't know. He got mad and left, and just left.
We
like,
totally
really?
didn't kill him.
We did. I don't know. He just went for a walk, like in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah,
like that's terrifying. Without any, EPIRBs or devices to be found. Like there's nothing. I mean, of course it's 94, but I'm saying shit that okay. Anyway, he's just gone. So like, oh, okay. Meryl Streep still is not like, well, that's weird. That seems odd.
Yeah, she's like, what are you gonna do? That dude's cute. That's what you're gonna do. Like,
you're gonna flirt with Kevin Bacon and John C. Reilly. So they take the son aside, and there's stuff also. I really don't like some of these choices, and I think they really take me out of it and really upset me. And that's because one of them is the hitting and the slapping. Yeah, that goes on. It's too much. Him hitting that kid was really not necessary. It's very upsetting
Yes.
to watch. There's no reason for it. They have guns. Look, spoiler, they're assholes. They have guns and knives, and they're trying to take their loot down the river.
Yes.
They just have to threaten people. They don't have, it's like the hitting was really, that upset me.
That's really upsetting, yes.
I don't like it. And then they take the kid aside, and they're kind of like buddying up with this kid, which is gaslighting the dad. Like, oh no, look, he's nice. Look, they're being nice to our son, and they should be. Just go. She won't be. This is another thing. She cannot be rude for a second to anybody. She's got to act like everything's fine.
Yeah, but I will say
that's what's frustrating.
I will say that feels very appropriate for the time.
Yes,
I think that
yes.
I mean, even now, I think women can be polite to a fault. What is fuck politeness, right? Like, we have women especially have been trained to be polite, like, at all costs, because we're afraid that you're going to rape and murder us. So we're always nice.
Or just call us a bitch and that we're not nice, and then that's like a big deal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've had people
by the way,
guys say really rude shit to me that nowadays I don't put up with. But
we don't care anymore, by the way.
Right.
Like, fuck politeness. You're trash, and we're going to call you trash. But, like, that was definitely a thing at the time. But I hear what you're saying. Like, it's hitting a kid is fucked up. It takes you out of the movie. And a movie that should be kind of a fun ride.
There should be danger, of course.
Yes. But
it just made it. It's like more like Deliverance. Oh Christ, who's that? I'm gonna ignore that. Somebody's buzzing my door.
There's
that sounds.
Oh,
sexy.
hey-oh.
Hey-oh, someone's buzzing me.
Yeah, there's also let's put the dog in danger. I immediately had to go to doesthedogdie.com and make sure that the dog didn't die.
Right, I did the same.
Because that kind of stuff stresses me out. And just to be clear, the dog doesn't die, and she is a very good girl.
Maggie's a great girl, and she's fine. I think her name is Taffy or something. I love when the dog gets a credit, too.
Yeah.
In the credits. But so they're basically telling this family, they take a knife out and they fuck up their raft, and they're like, look, we're all riding together. We're going to hold a gun at you this whole time while you take us down the river, and we won't kill you if you take us down the river in one piece.
Mm-hmm.
And so that from then on, that's the story. And I'm like, this, at some point, nobody has to go to the bathroom. When do they eat? When do they, they don't, there's a whole thing like where one of them falls asleep. I'm like, you're going to fall asleep at some point. Like,
yes.
You're burning up tons of calories, like you're all this energy to, keep going. And there's all these like points where they're slapping David straight. They never hits Meryl Streep, because Meryl Streep's like, nobody's after Dustin Hoffman slapped me.
She's all nobody touches Meryl Streep's face. How dare you?
I am Meryl fucking Streep. No,
we're not doing that. But there is a whole thing where they beat the shit out of David Strathairn. He tries to escape at one point to go get help. The Kevin Bacon character chases him down. He thinks he shot him. He didn't. And Tom, that's the David Strathairn character, is like kind of running alongside them while they're going down the river. And he meets up with the goodest girl. He meets up with Maggie, the dog, who is also now running alongside.
Right.
And he's sending smoke signals.
He sends smoke signals so that Meryl Streep knows he's there. It's so stupid.
He draws like drawings of like sign language on things.
I love you.
I love you. Just stuff
all
like that.
This,
so
it's just telegraphed. But and then beautiful Benjamin Bratt shows up.
So beautiful, so handsome,
handsome to the wow. I would forget there are people who have a gun on me. I've been just flirting like hi,
hi,
hello.
Oh,
but she's talking to, and he's like, how are you folks doing? She's like, fine.
Yeah, Benjamin Bratt's young
Like,
ranger
okay.
again.
Takes him
No,
for the word.
no gut instinct here that maybe these people are not okay. Like,
Right.
completely incapable of reading the room or the river, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, they're
And this
basic.
is after Kevin. Sorry.
Go ahead.
This is after Kevin Bacon says something super racist to him.
So
Like,
he's such an asshole.
he's such an asshole. Like, he says something super racist. He doesn't say Native American, but he says
Yeah.
this other word, and then it's like, boy, that's worse than being a black person, huh? And right to his face.
Yeah.
And just being a shithead. So he should immediately be like, why is this woman with these guys? Like,
Exactly, because he knows the Meryl Streep character from like when she was a guide. He used to ride with her. He knows that she's this super smart, awesome person. Why is she hanging out with these two racist pricks?
right.
And she's being really cold. Like, it should be a huge giveaway, but he's like, okay, we'll see you later. Like,
And then Kevin Bacon shoots him.
yes, it's so fucked up.
It's so
I
fucked
was
up.
like,
That's
he
another
doesn't
scene. Like,
deserve that. He didn't
That
deserve
didn't have to happen. There's so many I'm like, this could have been, there could have been so much, injure him, and then at the end he could be like this hero. Now he's just because we have to raise the stakes more.
I guess.
I'm already like, you have a 10-year-old that's terrified the whole
Yes.
time. Like, you don't need to. But anyway, the rest of this movie is like David Strathairn's running down the river like as fast as the river's going. I think it's a Roger Ebert's review. Like, he's like super fast, but he's sending smoke signals. And at one point, Meryl Streep and her son talk sign language to one another.
Yes.
And Kevin Bacon's like, "Don't do that. What are you saying?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, just do it the whole time. What's he gonna do? Like,
Exactly.
I mean, just that's your superpower. They use it for like 30 seconds and then stop. They give up. I'm like, well, what was the whole point
Yes.
of and then so they go in these rivers and they're going through the thing and they're it's exciting.
I
and
was
it's-
going to ask, did you think the rafting stuff was exciting?
good.
I thought that stuff looked pretty good.
It looked really good. It's just that it's just very repetitive. It's just the same
Sure.
scene over and over again. Like, that goes on and on. And then they're like, well, we just went through this part. That was the easy part. Now we're going through the hard part. And as an audience person,
Dun,
I'm
dun,
like,
dun, 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 dun.
I'm like, oh, how long is this movie? Like, how long does this go on
By the
for?
way, almost 2 hours, this movie. 90 minutes. It needed to be 90 minutes.
90 minutes would have been, and less killing, and it would have been perfect.
Yes.
I think it would have been a standard. But yeah, it's going on and on. I forget, one dies and then the other one dies.
There's like
Meryl
a whole...
Streep shoots them. right?
Yeah,
Shoots
Meryl
them.
Streep finally gets the gun, and she shoots the Kevin Bacon character. The John C. Reilly character at one point, like, she doesn't even see him. She looks right through him.
I just picture his hands going side to side, leaning side to side.
Yeah, and he just like walks.
I just robbed
You
the
can
auction.
walk right through me. Just
I just robbed the cow auction.
so she shoots Kevin Bacon. She walks right through John C. Reilly, who gets away with like a broken arm. I mean, actually, he doesn't get away, like, because finally the cops show up and all this stuff, and like at some point, like the David Stratham character makes like a whole fucking trap, like a booby trap, like a...
I mean, it's like Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, it's totally Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
He's like, he got a bunch of
Acme
stuff from
Trap
Acme.
Company.
He's
He's
like-
climbing the side of the
He's
mountain
like,
at some
David
point.
Statham, super genius.
Super genius. Beep, beep. He's climbing the mountain at some point. Do you remember that? And then he's using the knife like to help him up. I'm like,
That's so
wait,
good.
what? This guy's an architect? Like, what he can do?
By the way, glasses stay on the whole time, too.
Yes, they don't
Dude,
get misted up
Dude,
or anything.
falling down mountains, getting punched in the face, going down rapids, glasses the whole time. I'm like, I lose my glasses walking from this office to the kitchen. Like, and this
Yes.
dude, glasses the whole time. I'm like, damn, those glasses are really good.
Yeah, they're extra supportive. Yeah, she shoots him. And there's a couple of times in the movie where, she's basically saying that she's down to fuck with him, like she's forgiven him and but it's like,
Yeah.
this is probably not the time. But at
Yeah.
the very
By the way, down to fuck her husband, not Kevin Bacon.
No, as cute as he is, no.
Yes.
No, he's completely charmless. He's completely just a prick the whole time. It's just like I see through it. And then I also see through John C. Reilly. I mean, how much could they have? You're right, because how much possibly could they've had? Because they don't seem to have like big bags on them or anything. It's like how much money is it?
Seriously, it's like one bag of money. I'm like, it's not. There is an easier way to make money than to do this, and then to like go down this river where you could very easily be killed. It seems like a bad plan.
It wasn't a great plan. They did not plan things. They didn't have anything with them that would be helpful. It was absurd. At the very end, Meryl Streep, I mean, she shoots him.
Yes.
And the kid is okay and the husband's okay and John C. Reilly's like, I'm
gonna walk right out of the jail.
I guess I shouldn't have robbed the guy. And that's that.
And Maggie's fine, everybody. The goodest girl.
Which is all I care about ever. Yes, that's all I ever really care about. But yeah, I just think it's too long. There's a lot that could be taken out. There should have been more jokes, better relief. I think it was just kind of like
a little relief would have been nice because it is relentlessly dark.
Yeah.
There's
nothing fun about it. I mean, it's fun to make fun of it.
Yes.
I'm enjoying this.
It is too long. This movie should have been 90 minutes. A few jokes would have been nice. I mean, Meryl Streep can be very funny and Kevin Bacon can be very, they could have added just a little, like, again, it's a thriller. I get it. It's not supposed to be like hilarious, but it just would have just give us like a little break in the middle of all of this would have been nice. But I just love a 90s thriller.
Yeah.
I totally don't care that they telegraph everything. I'm fine with that, I guess, because I kind of expect it from our 90s thrillers. Like we just did The Good Son and we've done things like Hand That Rocks the Cradle or Disclosure or whatever. Like all these movies, these 90s thrillers, I feel like they do telegraph things. But I guess I'm fine with it because they're entertaining to watch.
Absolutely.
I just wish this movie was a little tighter. Like,
yeah, it could have been a really, because I do like me a dumb 90s flick.
Yeah.
That's like around 90 minutes. That's on TV a lot. I'm in. But I think it takes itself too seriously. I think at some point there should have been more levity. There should have been, I think, because it didn't do well. And it's still like, it's not like people talk about it all the time. I mean.
Yeah. That's why when it recently started like crossing my like For You pages on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff, I was like, why are we talking about The River Wild? And I was like, by the way, I'm fine with that. I want to talk about The River Wild, and I watched it and I enjoyed it. I remember liking it a lot at the time because it was at the time so different than what we got from Meryl Streep and what we got from action movies because there was a woman at the center, which again, we did not get very much of. And it got like okay reviews and it made like some money, but I am fascinated that Meryl Streep, because she's Meryl fucking Streep, was still nominated for all kinds of shit for this movie. She was nominated for like the Golden Globe, which, by the way, we did an episode of What a Creep on the Golden Globe, so you can know that they're kind of bullshit. But she was nominated for that. She was nominated for like a Screen Actors Guild Award for this movie. Kevin Bacon was nominated for Golden Globe for this. Like,
it should be like MTV Movie Award.
For
That's
sure.
like the level this
Yes.
is. It's not Golden Globe level. I think it's because it's Meryl Streep that elevates the project.
Yeah.
For sure. But this is, I mean, look, she did it. It's a great challenge.
Yeah.
And she got in great shape for it. That might have been fun.
By the way, she looks beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
She's beautiful in this movie, like the most beautiful she's ever been. She really looks great. And she's great in the part. I mean, she's Meryl Streep. She's good. They're all good.
Yeah, what a hot take from us.
Right. She's got talent, that kid.
She's going places.
Yeah. She's, I think it was fun for her because she didn't have to learn an accent or wear any like period clothing.
Good
or anything.
point. Good
right.
point.
You bring your family, you go to Montana for a couple of months.
Yes.
That doesn't sound terrible. I mean, and it seems like all these movies, like we said, like Speed.
Yes.
There's just a lot of thrillers that happened in the 90s that did really well at the box office and people enjoy it. That's why you go to the movies to get an experience like this.
But Speed is a great example of a thriller that is preposterous in every way whatsoever. But it's very tense, but it lightens the mood every once in a while with a joke. And I'm like, that's an excellent example.
Right. And Die Hard.
Die Hard's another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
They age, they're more fun to watch when there's just a little bit of levity. But it's just not that kind of movie, I guess. Apparently they're going to remake it.
I think you can remake it.
I think so too. Absolutely.
And I think they need to take our notes. I mean, just don't slap a kid. Don't slap any kids.
Yes.
That's just upsetting. Of course, let the dog live, but just there needs to be like in Die Hard, Reginald Vaughn. Oh God damn it! The cop that's
the cop
getting the Twinkies.
Yeah.
Like you need a scene like that where somebody's just doing something and they're like, "Oh, we need you over here." Oh, okay. It just gives you a chance to breathe and just kind of, and then it also gives you some hope for these people because. David Strathairn, I mean, the smoke signals, like, I was just...
Because, again, by the way, all of this is telegraphed that this is going to happen.
Right.
Because there's a thing where they see some, like, drawings on the side of a mountain, and Meryl Streep explains to her son what a vision quest is. And she's like, it's a movie starring Matthew Modine. And
right, which we covered a few weeks ago. Yes. Which we loved.
And it has to do with, like, she explains, like, the smoke signals and the drawings and blah, blah, blah. So it's all coming back. David Strathairn gives his son a Swiss Army knife as a gift. Like, everything's coming back. Everything's going to be telegraphed back. Did you read in the IMDb trivia that Meryl Streep and her daughter and David Stratham's son got married?
I know, isn't that amazing?
That's adorable. Everybody drink.
And I like that the first thing they list is like they had her do one more take and she was like, no, I'm too tired. And they like really pushed her and then she almost drowned and she just went up to him and he was scared shitless, the director. And she's like, when I tell you I can't do something, listen to me.
Yeah, because she's Meryl fucking Streep. If anything happened to her on the set of this movie, Curtis Hanson, you would, boy, the world would have destroyed you.
Yeah.
I read that I'm sure you read it too then, Sam Neill turned down the role that David Stratham plays.
It's not a great role.
Yeah.
I mean, he does some heroic things, but it's a little preposterous.
Yeah. They kind of need a David Stratham for this role, though.
Yeah.
And then I guess Ray Liotta was considered for the part of Kevin Bacon plays. And I'm like, that makes sense to me, of course. Like,
yeah. Make him laugh. Just make it as that crazy laugh that he does.
There's your moment of levity.
Yeah, put Joe Pesci in there with him. I think that would be amazing.
It's Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern from Home Alone. Why are you dressed like a giant chicken?
Hi.
I don't know why our John C. Reilly sounds like Pee Wee Herman.
I think that's Paul F. Tompkins' impersonation of John C. Reilly. So I was like, "Hi, I'm John C. Reilly." So that's just stuck in my head.
We love John C. Reilly, by the way.
We do. I love him. He's great.
We did an episode on Chicago. We love him. Do you want to hear some other 1994 movies?
Yes, please.
Okay. We got Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Yeah.
That's a movie that exists.
Yeah, it's fine.
Other people love Ace Ventura, by the way. It played at my theater, especially like preteen boys loved Ace Ventura. My Girl 2.
I don't think I've even seen that one.
I don't think I saw that one either. And I don't know
love
if
My Girl.
Yeah, I don't know if it needed a sequel, but okay. 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
I like that movie fine. I always wondered, some people just love that movie, and I was kind of like, it's good.
I loved it at the time. I wonder what I would think now.
Yeah, I wonder if it ages well.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
We should put it on the list.
We should.
The Crow.
I love The Crow.
I love The
It's
Crow.
stupid, but I love it.
I also love The Crow. The Cowboy Way.
Oh, that's Woody Harrelson and
Kiefer Sutherland. Yes.
Yeah.
What I, of course, remember about this movie is it played at my theater, and it had an end credit song by John Bon Jovi called Good Guys Don't Always Wear White. And it's such a bad song. And it was like, good guys don't always wear white.
I just thought at the end of this movie, there's some song playing over the credits, and I did think to myself, like, there's like a whole business in just writing a song for a movie.
Yes.
And you're just rolling the dice. Is it any good? Is anyone ever going to hear this? Like, I just picture the person singing their hearts out, like, I'm in a Meryl Streep movie.
And they're just playing it over the credits.
Right. And it's like, oof, not a good song.
I want a song that just summarizes the movie for me.
Yes.
And then
please.
we go down the river.
I see
With
your
Mr.
smoke
Sullivan.
signals.
I see your smoke signals and your drawing of I love you. Okay, a few more movies. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
We need to cover that one
Yeah,
day.
we do. I was thinking the
That
same
needs a
thing.
revisit. Yeah, I had that soundtrack. I loved that movie.
It's so good. Pulp Fiction, of course.
Great. Of course, yeah.
Hot take, everybody. Pulp Fiction's really great. The Road to Wellville.
Oh, that could have been good, but it wasn't.
Did you do a book versus movie on? No, I'm thinking of Cold Comfort Farm. Never mind. I'm thinking of a totally different movie. Mrs. Parker and the Vicious Circle.
That also could have been so much better.
Yeah.
I love Jennifer Jason Leigh too.
Yes. Same.
But Dorothy Parker's a tough character. Like, she's a wonderful writer and very funny, but I think she's kind of a sourpuss in person. Like, it's kind of hard to.
I would like them to try again with her.
Yeah.
I think they could make a good movie. And then the last one is The Madness of King George.
Oh, I remember they I don't know why I always think of this, the OJ trial. Like, that's one of the movies that they were really psyched to see. The jury.
They're like, we just want to see the madness of King George. Really, they probably should just watch The River Wild. Like,
Yeah.
it's Madness of King George. Talk about a serious fucking bummer. Anyway, that's our movies of 94.
Do you want to hear the songs of 94 when this movie came out?
I can't wait.
Okay, so it's October 1st, 1994. This movie should have been also, it's a summer movie. It's not a fall movie. That's right?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to go actually the top 12 because I like the 12 songs. So
okay.
number 12, Coolio, Fantastic Voyage.
I still love that song.
Fucking great. Ace of Base, Don't Turn Around.
Don't turn around.
Round. Loved Ace of Base. Warren G, This DJ.
Warren G is dope.
Yeah. Immature with Never Lie.
I don't know if
I don't know some of these.
I bet if I heard it, I would know it.
Aaliyah, At Your Best, You Are Love.
I love her.
R.I.P. Changing Faces, Stroke You Up. I don't know this.
That sounds naughty.
That sounds filthy.
I like it.
John Mellencamp, Michelle
Oh, yes.
Negocello,
Mm-hmm.
Wild Night.
Yeah, I like that song.
That's a good song. Babyface, When Can I See You?
I love some Babyface back in the day.
Yep. Number 4, we know this song. Lisa Loeb and 9 Stories.
Love.
Stay.
I still love that song.
It's a great song. You say. Okay, this person. Sheryl Crow, All I Want to Do. I'm sorry. Not a fan. I'm so annoyed that she's going to be a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer over the B-52s.
What?
And the B-52s are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Sheryl Crow is this year going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Because rock and roll would not be the same without Sheryl Crow.
That seems very strange.
Random.
I'm fine with. Have no feelings either way about Sheryl Crow, but that seems weird that she would be in there before the B-52s.
There's a lot of yeah. Anyway, sorry. Number 2, Luther Vandross, Mariah Carey, Endless Love.
I love Luther Vandross. Love.
I do too. He was great.
Yep. R.I.P.
And then R.I.P. And then number 1, Boys to Men, I'll Make Love to You.
You couldn't get away from that song.
Oh my God. It was like
actually
sparkles on a barge.
You couldn't get away from Boys to Men back then.
Which I actually really liked Boys to Men, to be honest.
For sure. For sure.
They were very talented.
Motown Philly.
Yes.
It's So Hard to Say Goodbye and I'll Make Love to You. You couldn't get away from any of those songs.
They play in Vegas and they do really well.
Oh, I bet.
I bet it would be. If we ever go to Vegas, we should go.
I
would totally see. I
would go see Boys to Men for sure. We
can't afford Adele. Forget it.
We should go to Vegas together. That would be super fun.
We do a meetup.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be super fun.
I would love that.
One of the gentlemen from Boys to Men, one of the men from Boys to Men, is the person who sponsors the sensory room at the Oakland Coliseum.
What? That's amazing.
It's like, I forget the name of the group. It's like Mika's group or something like that. It's a charity that he started with his wife, and he is the sponsor of the sensory room. He's doing it at a couple of different like sports arenas for people with sensory processing disorders, and it's like a quiet like suite in the game where you can watch the game, but it's not as loud. So like when I go with my son, we very often go and sit in this suite so that I can watch the game and he's not like getting sensory overload. It's awesome.
That's amazing. I love hearing that.
Yeah. There should be, by the way, every ballpark, every stadium should have something like that. It's amazing. Why don't we take a break and then we'll talk about what else we're dorking out about. My friend, what else are you dorking out about?
This week on Netflix, I really loved You People with Eddie
Murphy.
I
haven't watched it yet.
I know your sister said it was just okay. I thought it was hilarious.
Okay.
I really thought it was really, really enjoyable. I miss Eddie Murphy. I didn't realize how much I miss seeing him in things. He's so smart. Murphy. He's so smart. He's such a good actor. He's so relaxed, and it's a great cast. You're rooting for this couple. They're really likable. Julie Louis-Dreyfus, like, what can she not do?
She's a treasure. She is a treasure.
God, and she ages backward. I don't know what's going on with her. And David Duchovny plays her husband. He's fucking hilarious. I love it when he's being funny. It's a great cast. I super enjoyed it. I also saw, I don't know if you saw this, the Pamela Anderson documentary on Netflix. Okay, really great. I also got her book. I'm like halfway through it.
Ooh, how's the book so far?
It's good. It's really good. I think she's so honest. I really love her honesty. Like she really owns up to her pitfalls and her mistakes. Bless you.
Thank you.
Gesundheit. She owns her mistakes that she's made.
Yeah.
And she's trying to learn. And I find her so likable. And I also find like her upbringing and what she went through as a child, like it totally makes sense. later on in her life, the things that
Yes.
happened to her. And and she realizes that too.
I
And she's
really
making
liked
those
it.
connections. Yeah, she's super smart. I don't know how you felt. Tommy Lee, when he says, why did you strike her? He hit her when she had 2
Yes.
babies with her. And he said, because Tommy became number 3 when I used to be number 1.
Fucking man, baby.
Oh my God. Like,
That I would need to see the whole interview, but the segment we saw, I was like, this is a fucking problem where he is able to, that's his excuse. I was number 1, but now I'm number 3. Tommy, I just wanted love. That's what he literally says. Like, I just wanted love. I'm like, fuck you. You're a grown ass man. You are a grown man. And to go at a woman who's holding your children. I was so disgusted.
it's disgusting. And it's just, they wanted these kids so bad. And I'm happy that they got them. And
Yes.
the boys seem really sweet. And
They
they really
do.
love her.
Yeah, they're so sweet to her, and she's so sweet to them.
Yeah, like that's the love story, I
Yeah.
think. That's in addition to her like 12 marriages at this
Yeah.
point. Not judging. Look,
Yeah, and she.
you
they-
do you, Pam.
Yeah, they do a really good job though of explaining why she keeps getting married. Like she really is. She is an optimist for one thing, but she
Yes.
wants a certain thing. Like she wants it, and it's like she's just disappointed over and over. And she does land at a spot where she's like, maybe I just need to like be in love with myself for a little while. I don't know if that's gonna stick, but I love that for her if she actually does it, because it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I think she gets lonely easily.
Yeah.
I think she likes companionship. I think she thrives with that. I mean, I also like, damn girl, like Mario Van Peebles. What?
I didn't even remember that part, to be honest,
I was
until
like, damn girl. I mean, she still, she said a thing. I also really appreciate this. She did an interview with Ronan Farrow, excuse me. I'm thinking of Rowan from the movie.
Yes.
It's Ronan. So he did the Me Too stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he interviewed her and said, in 2017 when the Harvey Weinstein stuff was first coming out, you basically said these actresses knew what they were doing when they were going to the room with him and they should have known better and blah, blah, blah. And she says, yeah, that was a really mean thing to say. I shouldn't have said it. It was coming from a place of, she said when she was growing up, her mom used to tell her, if a man invites you to his room, don't go. But if you're going to go, you better get the job. And she was told that like a teenager. So she just had that in her head. I think that's an outcome, right?
Yeah.
And I love the fact she also said in the documentary, like, she wasn't media trained. Like when people asked her a question, she was like, well, I'll answer it.
She came into this fame really fast.
Oh my God.
It's real. Like, I didn't realize, like, she went from like wearing a certain shirt at a football game to being approached, like to doing a commercial, to being approached by Playboy and just being like thrown into the deep end.
Right.
Without any, like you said, any media training.
No, and like she's there doing an interview for, I think for if it was for Playboy or it was for Baywatch, but like they're asking her about her breasts, like did you get a boob job? And she kind of laughs off like, well, but they're just not even saying anything. Like they expect an answer, and it's like any other situation, she should have a publicist there that's like walks in and goes, no, not doing that,
right?
And she didn't have that. She didn't have anybody that said you need to learn how to say something without saying anything, right? It's just like pivot the conversation to where you want it to land and have some like stories on the reg. So like when you're ready, you can just give the story versus saying like it just, of course, Matt Lauer has to be a fucking creep.
So
but like,
gross. And Jay Leno too. Jay Leno is fucking
ugh.
creepy and shitty to her. And
we should do a Jay Leno episode.
we really should. We mentioned him in like our comedy creeps episode. But he's such an.
I don't care if he's been on fire. I don't care if he's been a motorcycle.
Jay Leno sucks. He's a hack, and he's just a garbage person.
Sexist trash.
He is sexist trash. And then just all the stuff with the sex tape, which honestly, like, I don't think I even knew like everything that was going on around it, but the idea
No,
that
nor did I.
because she had been in Playboy, because everyone could see her naked in Playboy, somehow she didn't deserve a right to privacy.
Right.
Which, you know, I'll be honest, maybe even back then I was probably one of those garbage people that was like, no one stole that tape. Like, they probably released it themselves, you know?
I'm sure I thought that too. I'm sure I thought, like, yeah, this is a scam to make some money. They didn't make any money off that thing.
That is so
And
bananas to me.
When you look at the timeline of it,
Yeah.
like they were like, okay, fine, we sold this tape, and then everything just goes on the internet, and everybody's downloading it. She
Yeah.
had no idea.
How
Like, it's
awful.
And she doesn't make any money from the Baywatch. Like, she makes a couple of grand a month from that. It's
Yeah.
like people made so much money off of her.
Yes.
That's my point. And I'm glad she was able to sell her house in Malibu and she's fine with
Yeah.
money. And I actually like that one of her exes is like, I'm going to give her 10 million when I die because she's so cool. I'm like, good for you.
I hope he does. And
I hope he's honest. Yeah, I hope he really does that. But she's so likable. I think she's just there's not like a vicious bone in her body. I don't think.
exactly. I didn't get that impression from this interview. She seems pretty genuine. She
Yeah.
seems trusting to a fault.
Yes.
I think it's why, you know, she makes a good case for why she loves animals so much because of that, you know,
Right.
and I appreciate that she was like, well, if you're going to follow me around and document everything I do and say, I'm going to use it to help animals and all the stuff with like her, you know, PETA is problematic, but her heart is in the right place. You can tell.
Absolutely.
And the whole thing where she was signing autographs and then in exchange having people sign a petition to like help animals, you know, it's very sweet. It's like, that's good people stuff right there.
Yeah, I think I would say don't fall in love so easily. Like try to
Yeah.
maybe just live with a guy for a while. You don't really have to get married. But you
try
do you.
living together.
But you do you, Pam. Your life is an adventure, and I really like her, and it's really made me there's a lot of rethinking going on
Yes.
about how we treated people in the 90s, which at the time we thought we were like edgy and cool in the 90s,
Yes.
and it turns out we were idiots. Like,
Yep.
yeah. All right. Anyway, moving on. April, Apple Plus Shrinking. I'm really enjoying.
I love. I'm really enjoying that one.
Harrison Ford, Jason Segel.
Yes.
And Phoebe, is that Phoebe Robinson?
It's
or
Jessica Williams and
Jessica Williams, sorry.
Yeah, and Christina Miller, I think, is playing
Yes.
the neighbor from Drew Carey show. It's very sweet and funny.
Yes. It's charming. It's like 30 minutes. It's Jason Segel is like this therapist who's trying to use like really aggressive therapy to like turn people around, and I'm there for it. I get it. I'm really enjoying it. Peacock Poker Face is amazing.
I love that. I haven't seen the latest episode, but I'm really, really like, it's like my favorite thing going right now.
It's Esapatha Merkson. Is that how you pronounce her last name? She's from Law and Order.
Oh yeah.
And Judith Light.
They're in the newest one?
They're in the newest
Oh my
one,
gosh,
and they're
okay.
like longtime best friends. And it's who's the lead? Natasha.
Oh, I'm not going to pronounce it right. It's like Legon or something like that.
Right, Leon. She's great. She's really got that. I mean, they're doing Columbo and they're doing Murder, She Wrote, and they're doing all kinds of stuff, but in the best way. It's funny as shit.
Natasha Leone.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry. I think it's funny. It's super funny. It's great mysteries. It's just a really nice way of upping that game to like, cable level.
She's so great. Like, just
so believable.
So believable. She's just like naturally funny. Like, you always, like, whenever she shows up in things, you love her.
Right.
And I just love her and everything about her and her voice and her delivery and the way the character interacts with the other people. I just really, everything about it. So good.
Yeah. It's really good. And then on Amazon, there's a documentary about Valerie Perrine. We've talked about Valerie Perrine. It's called Valerie, and it's only like an hour. It's real quick, but it talks about like her career. She was a showgirl in Vegas, and she loved it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. She was one of Jay Sebring's girlfriends. He was one of the people that was killed by the Charles Manson killers. Mm-hmm. And she was going to go to that party, and she couldn't make it. And then he was killed. Yeah. She was in Superman. She was in she's in Can't Stop the Music. We talked about that a few weeks ago. But they also talk about her illness and what she's dealing with. Yeah. And we're trying to help promote her. So anyway, I really liked it. It was a really good documentary.
Yeah. And she's got a GoFundMe going. If you go find it, like type in her name, it pops right up.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's help her out.
Yeah. Those are good picks.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
You? Nope, I'm good.
Okay. I have been listening to a podcast called Land of the Giants, and it's all about dating apps, about the history of like Tinder and Hinge and Bumble, and how they kind of changed the game, how they took something like Match.com, which are Plenty of Fish, and you did this on your computer. You had to sit down at a computer and do it. And it was like Tinder that put it on your phone, made it an app, which turned it kind of into a game. And these things make so much fucking money. So the podcasts, I'm like 4 episodes in, I think, and they're talking about like the history of all the different podcasts dating apps, and how they're connected, because sometimes it's people who started at Tinder and then they go to Bumble, and how the company that did Match.com is like buying up all of these apps. So you think like, oh, I'm not having a lot of luck on Tinder, so I'm going to go to Hinge. It's all the fucking same. It's the same. They're all owned by Match. Like it's wild. Like I think all of them except for Bumble are owned by Match. Although, like I said, I'm only in the 4th episode. Maybe they ended up buying Bumble. I could Google that shit. But I don't want to spoil it for myself.
No, is Match the one where the CEO does the commercials? He does those awkward dating commercials?
Was eHarmony.
Oh, eHarmony.
And you know what? And eHarmony might also be separate from Match. But it is really interesting. It's talking about like a lot of the history and how they're connected, but it's also talking about how the algorithms work, some of the different things that they've tried that have failed. They interview people who have been on these apps for like years and years and years, trying to like meet people and it's not working. And I know that there's definitely like been a component going around where people are like, I'm deleting my dating apps. I'm not doing it anymore. But there's this idea that they are kind of addicting, like because of the gamification of it. Like,
I can see that.
It's the same reason that like Facebook is addicting, or Twitter, or anything that like kind of that little endorphin rush you get when you like something, or, you know, or it also makes people feel like the grass is always greener. Like, I think I could do better than what I have, you know, so they don't commit. And there's a lot of wild stuff in there. I'm really digging it. And it's confirming for me that I am doing the right thing. But no, it's really interesting. It's called Land of the Giants. I decided to get on board and watch The Last of Us on HBO because everybody was talking about the 3rd episode, and I had so much FOMO that I joined it and started watching it. And I do think it's very good. And it feels a little bit more hopeful than The Walking Dead. I bailed on The Walking Dead after a couple seasons because it was just so talk about dark and no jokes.
And grim, and just unrelentingly grim.
Yes. This one hints at hope, and that makes me a little bit more interested, but I'm worried that it's going to disappoint me. So I'm kind of watching it and keeping it at arm's length.
Got it.
The 3rd episode is like kind of one of those like almost like what do they call them? Like bottleneck episodes or the self-contained episode. And it's got like Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett from the first season of White Lotus.
I love Murray Bartlett.
Yeah. And they're playing like two survivors in the middle of this pandemic that meet up. And like, it's a really sweet story. Like, get your tissues if you watch it. It's really good.
I hear they play Linda Ronstadt, so
Yes.
like now she's completely like taking over. I love it when people I love from like the 70s
Yes.
and 80s are coming back. I just love that.
Yeah, she's getting the Kate Bush treatment.
Yeah, she's getting the Kate Bush bump, who
Yes.
also was, by the way, nominated to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but deserves it. Like she's, I don't know.
God damn you, Sheryl Crow.
Sheryl Crow!
Crow! The last thing I'm going to mention, and this is, so as people probably know, I've been playing Animal Crossing for like 3 years because I'm a total dork. And TikTok was like, again, the most amazing algorithms. Like, you like Animal Crossing. That's a cozy game. You would like cozy gamers. And I was like, what the fuck are cozy gamers? And it's like this very like warm, welcoming, soft lighting, mainly women on TikTok who are like into these like low stress games where you just like explore and build things or whatever. And it recommended to me a game called Disney Dreamlight Valley, where you get to like live in a town and like mingle with other Disney characters. So it's like Scrooge McDuck and like Remy from Ratatouille and Wally's there and Mickey and all of that. And I was like, this game is fucking delightful. Started playing it 2 hours, just buy 2 hours, never getting that time back. It's addicting, just saying, but it is very relaxing. It's exactly what I needed.
It's what you needed. Like, exactly. It scratches that itch.
Exactly. I'm like, I could put it down any second now. I promise. I'm not addicted. No, it's very light. It's very easy. I see the Animal Crossing connection. So if you're like me and you play Animal Crossing, you might really like Disney Dreamlight Valley. It's very sweet. And I like Disney movies, so I'm really excited to when apparently Ursula shows up, and Ursula from Little Mermaid's kind of one of my favorites.
Oh, I know who Ursula is.
She's one of my favorites.
Ursula's amazing.
Yeah.
We did that for Book versus Movie. We did the Little Mermaid.
Yes.
In December. That movie's fucking great. I haven't seen it. That's my hot take. Yeah. I hadn't seen it in a really long time. That movie is really fun.
It's super fun. And I mean, I think a case could be made that Ursula isn't quite the bad guy you think she is.
No.
But
and the music is so good.
It's really, really good. It's the one that started like Little Mermaid, like, or it was like Oliver and Company, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. Like it's one of the first ones to start this really famous run of Disney movies. I love The Little Mermaid. It's adorable.
It's adorable. Everybody drink.
Everybody drink. I'm totally going to go see. I'll watch the live action one. I'll watch it. I'm like, I didn't watch the live action Lion King, but I'll watch the live action Little Mermaid.
I didn't even make it through the trailer for that. I was like, oh no, this is a hard pass for me because I really love the Lion King. That movie fucks with my emotions.
I'm kind of down to watch the live action Little Mermaid. I want to check it out.
Of course.
I don't know. Something about it. It's clicking for me. But yeah, I think that's everything on my list.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, that's plenty. That's plenty of Rex. My friend, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Brooklyn Margot.
Ooh.
On Instagram, I'm at Brooklyn Fit Chick. My site is brooklynfitchick.com. And I am at Margot Donahue on TikTok, and I'm posting a lot of edited videos that I'm putting together, and they're getting some traction. So yeah, it's been really fun. I mean, a lot of it about movies and stuff filmed in Brooklyn, but yeah, that's my shit. And then we have What a Creep.
Yes, that's the other podcast we do. So if you like the sound of our voices, go check that out. We just started our 19th season. What? And we did a quartet of British creeps. So it's like Ricky Gervais and What's that DJ's name? What's that creepy?
DJ Tim Westwood.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Katie Hopkins, and then we did an old-timey murder case. That was really fun.
The dumbest criminal ever.
The dumbest, drunkest criminal that left Killeen, Ireland. Oh,
so good.
Bless her heart, but yeah.
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and the TikTok, where I'm there to ruin it for the kids. If you like Dorking Out Show, you could give us a couple of stars wherever you listen to your podcast. That would be dope. You can email us at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com. We'll send you some stickers. Email us. Ask us for some stickers. They're free. They're free. And they're so cute. They're adorable.
Yeah.
Everybody drink. And you can also find us at dorkingoutshow.com. The website was down. It is working again. And you can find us on Twitter and Facebook, where people complain about our salty language. Thank you for doing the River Wild with me, Margot. I know this is like, you were like, burn, but you did it. And it was super fun.
Come on. Look, doing my John C. Reilly impression, it was worth it. Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye. You can walk right through me.
Bye, Kevin Bacon.